Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Behind me, 2013 Hyundai Elantra, we're going to be replacing the front brake pads and rotors. Let's do it. First thing we want to do is jack the vehicle up, put it on jack stands, we'll pull our tire off. Now let's turn our wheel to get better access to our caliper. Now we'll take a flat screwdriver, put it right in this window in between our caliper and our brake pad. Now we'll pull towards ourselves. There we go, till it bottoms out. And this is doing a few things. It's letting us know that our slide pins are not seized, our caliper is still good, and it gives us a head start by pushing our caliper piston back in a little. If you can't do that step, that's okay. It's not 100% necessary. Now let's pull off our caliper, two 14mm bolts. Now we'll hang our caliper. Just out of the way for us, perfect. Pull off our brake pads. Now this next step you could do with the caliper bracket still on or off, that's up to you. I like to do it while it's still on. We'll pop off our hardware. Then I like scraping out these channels if there's any crust. If you have extra buildup, when the bracket's off, you can take a wire brush or a wire wheel and clean those up even better. Next, we'll pull out our slide pins, just one at a time. Wipe off this old caliper grease. We'll be installing a new caliper grease. Perfect. We'll slide this back in. I like to twist as it goes in. I don't know that it necessarily does anything. Do the bottom. Now, if you take both of yours out at the same time and forget which one goes where, the bottom has this little rubber ring on it. We want to make sure that rubber ring goes back in the bottom slide pin. Some good old grease. Now, this is a caliper grease, not a petroleum-based grease. That is important. Slide this back in. Perfect. Now let's pull off our bracket. These are 17mm. Pull this off, set it aside. Now let's work on getting our rotor off. Let me reposition you. Our rotor is held on from the factory with two Phillips screws. The best way to get those out is with an impact driver. We'll just put this in, give it a whack. There we go. Now if this is your first time changing the brakes from the factory, these come out relatively easy. All right, we'll get our second one. There, not too bad at all. When we put these back in, we'll apply a little anti-seize on them. Now to get our rotor off, we'll just smack it. There we go. Now if you have any buildup on your hub surface, we want to clean that off with a wire wheel. This looks really good. So now let's prep our new rotor. Our new rotor comes with a coating to protect it while it's in storage. We want to take a little brake clean, spray it down, and wipe it off. All right, let's install it. All right, we'll line this up so our screw holes are in the right place. We'll install our screws with a little anti-seize and just good and snug. They don't have to be too tight. Really, this just holds it in place during assembly. When your tire is torqued down, that really locks the rotor in place. Let me move you around and let's install our bracket. Before we put our bracket on, I like to install the hardware. Just push it in like that. Then I like to take a flat screwdriver and just push it in all the way to make sure it's bottomed out. Perfect. Now we'll do the other side. Push in our hardware. Make sure it's bottomed out. All right, now let's install it. Get our bolt in. Snug it down. According to the information I have, these are torqued between 58 and 72 foot-pounds. I have my torque wrench set to the upper end at 70 foot-pounds. Then we can put our brake pads on. We want the wear indicator on the inside top. Slide these in. There we go. Put in the outer. Push our caliper piston in the rest of the way. We'll take an old brake pad, set it in there. And we have our piston compression tool, and then we'll just squeeze it. There we go. Well, there's lots of different tools that'll do the same thing. And if you're not sure about owning one yourself, you can always rent one from the auto parts store. Then we'll install our caliper, make sure our brake hose isn't twisted. Snug these down. And these are torqued between 16 and 23 foot-pounds. All right, that is it. We'll straighten the wheel out, put the tire back on, and do the same thing to the other side. All right, there you go. That's how you can replace front brake pads and rotors on your Hyundai Elantra. Overall, not too crazy. The last thing we want to do is break in our new brakes. How we do that is take the vehicle up to about 30, 35 miles an hour, and then come to a nice solid stop. And we don't want to lock the brakes. We do want to come to a nice positive stop. Then we'll bring the vehicle back up 30, 35 miles an hour and do the same thing about 4 or 5 times. Then your new brakes are good to go. Thanks for watching. I have links in the description for all the parts and tools used. If you have any questions, comment, post down below. See you on the next one.